Total Sport with me, Paul Salt, through until 8 o'clock, turning our attention to Thursday night now. Huge game, Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg against Spurs. We'll have full exclusive local radio commentary as the Reds look to overturn a 1-goal deficit to make it back to Wembley. Well, joining me now is the host of the Spurs Chat podcast, Chris Cowlin. How are you, Chris?
Evening, Paul. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. I would imagine you're feeling a little bit better about life after Sunday, aren't you now?
Absolutely. We went into that game 1 win in 10 in the Premier League. Spurs, of course, are sat 14th in the table. We're not used to that as Spurs fans, certainly in recent seasons, being in that sort of position. But Sunday was a must-win game. A lot of people expected us to lose that game against Brentford. Of course, they've got a lot of attacking power in that final third, but Spurs got the job done. It was a very weird performance, and I say weird because we're not used to seeing Spurs set up, particularly in the way that we did in that second half. But Ange Postecoglou knew that he had to get that win. The 3 points were absolutely vital on Sunday, and of course, as you've mentioned, going into this game against Liverpool on Thursday, it's our biggest game of the season, and it's a must-win.
Well, we all know about Ange and how stubborn he is. But what will be his attitude to the game on Thursday? Because you're 1-0 up. It's a bit of a stick or twist situation, I suppose.
It is absolutely that. Of course, Spurs fans are very excited by Ange Postecoglou's football. Ange ball, as a lot of people call it. But he has this attacking, way about him constantly. But I think a lot of Spurs fans at the moment are saying, look, let's just park the bus. But we know that Ange Postecoglou is not going to do that. We know that we just need a draw at Anfield to go through to the Carabao Cup final. Of course, trophies are way, way overdue at Spurs. We haven't won one since 2008. But we need to do everything in our power just to get this job done. But it is going to be very, very tough. Liverpool is always a very tough place for us to go. We've only won there 4 times in 39 years. And the amount of time, I go home and away, and the amount of time I've driven away from Anfield, very disappointed, getting back home, late at night, early hours of the morning, because we haven't performed there, haven't got the results there. We know it's going to be very, very tough, but Ange needs to step up in a way. We've got a couple of new signings in the last couple of days as well. So that's going to give us a bit of fresh legs in there, because we do still have 10 first team players out injured, but I'm not sitting here giving excuses. I'm just expecting that whatever team he puts out on Thursday, they've got to give absolutely everything. And they all know what's at stake. And I think that a lot of those players are going to be hungry, trying to get to that final at Wembley.
Yeah, where does that first leg rank in terms of results under Postecoglou?
It was a really important one, Paul, actually. And it was a really good performance by Spurs, because it came, somewhat of a bit of a surprise to a lot of the fans, certainly inside the stadium, because, we have gone through a very, very tough couple of months. And let's be honest and fair about it, Liverpool are one of the best teams in Europe right now, certainly the best team in England right now. And, to get that result and to get that performance against Liverpool, going into this game, with a 1-0 lead, was really, really, really good for us.
Yeah. I mean, you've mentioned there about the injuries. Is that major mitigation? Are a lot of people still giving him the benefit of the doubt, do you think, because of those injuries? I hear different Tottenham fans, and there's a very differing opinions about him.
Yeah, and it's fair to say as well, when Ange Postecoglou came through the door, not a lot of people knew about him. He has been successful everywhere he's gone. But the injuries have been, really devastating for Spurs. And we've had a lot of injuries since he's come through the door. The summer before last, when he came through the door, we've had a lot of injuries. That first 10 games that he took charge, we were sitting top of the Premier League, won 8, drawn 2. I think he took a lot of people by surprise. Everyone was entertained with the type of football that he played. But then the injuries kicked in that Chelsea game. We had a lot of injuries last year. We did okay in the summer window. We probably should have done more in terms of experience. But this season has just been a disaster in terms of injuries. And I feel like some fans feel sorry for Ange in the way that, he hasn't had a fully fit squad in a number of games to really judge him. But I feel like we've gone round in circles in recent years. We've had 7 different managers, including Postecoglou, and going back to Pochettino in 2019. So it's time to give a manager time time to give someone patience. And, I'm excited by what Andrew's trying to build. Whether he'll get the time and patience is another story. I feel like if he was to put a trophy in the cabinet, I know, he's said a number of times that, always win a trophy in the second season. I'm certainly hoping that is the case. But I do feel like Ange Postecoglou does need the time, does need the patience, because I want to see what his team can really do when we do have a fully fit squad. Because even at this stage now, 10 first-team players out. Yesterday we were given the news that Radu Dragushin has suffered an ACL. He's going to be out for some months. It just seems to be Tottenham's luck at the moment that, we've had, such bad luck since Postecoglou has arrived with injuries.
Yeah, Van de Ven is a great player, isn't he? And so important. I think he's a cracking player, but he just can't stay fit, can he?
It's a shame. It's a shame, Paul. I feel like, a lot of it has been extremely unlucky. Some Spurs fans and some pundits are saying that, perhaps the training regimes are quite heavy on some of these players, and that's the reason why we've got so many injuries. But I feel like some of them have just been really, really unlucky, and Spurs have been unlucky with injuries. Van de Ven, though, is one of the best defenders in the Premier League in my eyes, and, what a find he was. He only played 20-odd games for Wolfsburg before Spurs signed him. He was an unknown player, and, he's come into the Premier League, hit the ground running, and when he's in the team, he's absolutely superb. But sadly, I think he's a doubt for Thursday, and I think he'll be heavily missed.
Yeah, he missed the Brentford game, didn't he? The big thing, I suppose, for you to take from Brentford was the defensive display, wasn't it?
Absolutely, we're not used to it. We're not used to we're just not used to that type of performance and grinding the result out, because Andrew's always said it's who we are, mate. And we play that attacking style. Which I love, by the way. Sometimes you do need to shore up the defence and make sure the defence is solid, not to concede goals. But he loves the entertaining aspect of the game. If you score, we'll score more than you. And that's why it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens at Anfield on Thursday, because we know that he doesn't play that way. But the particular timing, as you mentioned, Sunday's game, playing a little bit more defensive in that match, not only did he have to get the result, but he's thinking ahead, of course, to Thursday's game against Liverpool.
So you mentioned there about your deadline day deals that you've got. Do you know much about those two players, and how quickly do you think they'll be incorporated into the starting lineup?
I think Kevin Danso, the centre-back, will come straight in due to the injuries of Dragushin and Van de Ven. So I fully expect him to play and make his debut straight away. Antonin Kinski, of course, has played 6 competitive games for us already. We signed him early on in the January window. So he's done extremely well. Of course, made his debut in the first leg against Liverpool, played very well. And Matisse Tell, of course, has just signed on loan with an option to buy in the summer. And I fully expect him to be on the sub-bench and perhaps be that game changer that we've been really missing. But, of course, players like Richarlison will really be up for this game, given the Everton connections.
Yeah, he doesn't need. Hopefully, he doesn't do that dance if he scores. But anyway, so in all, if you book I don't suppose you need a hotel for Wembley. I'm going to say if you book your hotel for Wembley, it's only down the road. But have you made plans for Wembley, or are you not getting that ahead of yourself yet?
I am not getting that excited, Paul. I tell you what, I've got my fingers crossed. I'll be, of course, going to the game on Thursday. I'm praying and hoping that Spurs get a result, at least a draw. I'm sure it would be a highly entertaining game. I'm sure it would be, a lot of goals and a lot of entertainment for the fans all around the world watching. But yeah, I'm not going to get carried away because, as I said, I know what it's like coming away from Anfield. The amount of times that we've had poor results up there. But in cup football, you never ever know. But hopefully Spurs will get the job done.
And if it starts going wrong, will it be Daniel Levy that gets the attention from the big travelling away support there?
Well, I think there's a lot of frustration. Well, I know there's a lot of frustration amongst the fan base with the board at the moment because I think that a lot of Spurs fans expect a lot more in transfer windows and the way that things are done at the football club. And it's fair to say that in recent years, a lot of poor decisions have been made. And the Spurs fans, there is a level of expectation because of the amount of money that fans pay for tickets, etc. And the stadium was meant to be a game changer. And I feel like a lot of fans feel that, we're advertising more concerts than we're signing players. And I feel like the the full focus needs to be on the pitch a lot more than the time than it is.
Well, I won't wish you good luck, but I hope you enjoy your trip to Merseyside. And thanks very much for talking to me, Chris.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye. That's Chris Cowlin there, who is from the Spurs Chat podcast. He sounds like a nice guy, doesn't he? He knows his stuff as well about Tottenham, but let's hope their resurgence, even though it's only been one game, let's hope that doesn't continue on Thursday, shall we? Right. Everton manager David Moyes and his players have pledged their support to the club's official charity for the coming year. Everton in the community.